Hello, you lovely internet people. Today I wanted to talk about how I study Japanese and what method that I use to study Japanese. I don't use textbooks. I don't use Duolingo. I don't use other apps and that sort of thing. All I do is watch videos that are in Japanese at the level that's appropriate for me. That comes from this method called Comprehensible Input. So I'll link these videos in the description so that people get an idea of like the kind of reasoning that I have for the method. But I don't want to watch the videos here. So this What I've Learned video, How to Learn a Language Through Input, this is a different title than it was all those years ago, I'm pretty sure. But the main idea is that you're using the techniques that would be similar for like a baby learning a language, where it's like the baby hears, I don't know, cup, 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 cup. We're gonna use this cup, and then you see, oh, I see that this thing is a cup, and then you see that enough times, you see enough examples, kind of like how the large language models work, where it's like they see the pattern enough times, and then they're like, oh, I can extrapolate that this is a thing, and then they go from there. This is how we're trying to learn Japanese. So similar format. In this video with Matt versus Japan being interviewed, this is another good take on like his methodology for it. One thing that he does is that he did a bunch of like Anki flashcards as his like initial input and then working from there. Or you might learn grammar techniques first and then get a bunch of input through that. I don't think that you need to do this, but this is a method that a lot of people stand by, which is the data. It's called sentence mining that people do with Anki flashcards. Anki is a spaced repetition flashcard system that people like to use, or flashcard software that people like to use. And then this video really helped me with this professor dude, I forget his name, Jeff Brown, who is a language instructor somewhere in California. And what he was doing was he was learning Arabic from scratch, and he would have different tutors, and then the tutors would only talk in their target language, and they'd have a bunch of picture books of children's books and stuff, and then they'd explain what's going on in the picture books, create stories and all that stuff, and then that would be his way of creating comprehensible input. And because he was working with a tutor, he could do it in real time, and he was also one thing that he did was make sure that he himself was only talking in the target language. I don't think that that's necessary. When you look at things like Dreaming Spanish, which is the OG immersion method, they talk about this notion of crosstalk. And the way that crosstalk works is that you're communicating in your own native language, and they're communicating in what your target language is. So for a Japanese, for example, I'd be speaking in English, and then the person that I'm speaking with would be speaking in Japanese, and then we go back and forth that way. So then we're each getting input for the language that we're targeting. Another thing that I did early on was do a lot of language exchanges, or try to get people in contacts that I could language exchange with to try to do this crosstalk method. I realized that I was kind of too early to do that. I have 200, a little over 250 hours in Japanese right now, and I still don't feel like it's quite the time to start doing a lot of crosstalk. Or at least the difficulty was that their level of English was higher than my level of Japanese, so they had to dumb down significantly more to compensate for me, so I felt kind of bad that way. Sorry, I'm sick. But yeah, so how do I actually get my input for Japanese is what we're going to go through now. There is this amazing YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is absolutely incredible. It's called Comprehensible Japanese, or CI Japanese. And they even have a website too. They have significantly more videos when you start to have the members only stuff included. Let's see, can I show the total number of videos? Yeah, so they have hundreds of hours of content if you got everything. Whereas if you only did free content, there's only like 26 hours. And then we have to do that by level. So if you go to like complete beginner, that's free, then you only get 7 hours, that sort of thing. And I watch a lot of this content. I watch the videos more than once. I try to make sure that I get to a point that I'm like, okay, I get the gist of what's happening in this video, and then you go on to the next thing, etc., etc. So we'll literally go over an example right now. This is only a 3-minute video. I've watched this video probably like over 10 times at this point of this face video. And you'll see like how I'm starting to understand it.
これは顔です。
So she was pointing at a face and said, これは顔です. And then you're like, oh, wow, okay. So this is a face. That's basically what she said. Something along the lines of this is a face. And then you'll start to understand. Or maybe you didn't even understand that whole sentence. But listen to the next part.
顔を描きます。
So just there. So you hear initially.
これは顔です。
So you heard that kao sound. And then you're like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then
顔を描きます。
and then she uses that same word, kao, some other shit, and then says kakimasu. But while saying kakimasu, she's like moving the pen. And then you're like, oh, face drawing of a face or something like that. And you go from there, and then you progressively go over more and more. You do that a bunch of times until you're like, okay, I've solidified that kao is face and kakimasu is drawing. Or the action of drawing. But you wouldn't get that on your first viewing necessarily. You get that over many of viewings, and maybe you'll see the same word in different contexts through a bunch of different videos, and then it'll eventually solidify from all those different examples that this word means this thing, or this sentence means this thing. And then you like slowly build up that block. And that's how I study Japanese. So we'll just continue watching the video, and I won't say anything more. I'll just react to the video. But
1、2、3。
so just there, you're like 1, 2, 3. And if you just kept repeating that over and over again, you'd be like, okay, this is what 1 is, this is what 2 is, this is what 3 is.
1つ、2つ、3つ。
Oh, wait, that's a different way of counting. Instead, that's interesting. They have a different format for counting that isn't just ichi, ni, san, shi, go, doku, etc. Yeah.
顔を描きます。 これ
And she said it again, the kao kakimasu.
は耳です。耳。
So she's drawing ears and saying mimi. So you're like, oh, ear is mimi. There.
耳。ここは頭です。頭。頭。これは髪の毛です。この人の髪の毛は短いです。長くありません。
Anyway, you probably get the point at this point. If you want to watch the whole video, watch it on your own time. But this channel, brilliant, amazing. If you want to learn Japanese from a comprehensible input method standpoint, this is brilliant for that. And then each video also comes with a Japanese transcript. So if you want to learn to read, you can read along at the same time as she's saying the audio, and then you can figure out what the words are from that. And each video, if you went to the website, they have a transcript at the bottom. Let's see. If we went here, and then we see transcript, and we can format it to have the furigana or not have the furigana, etc., etc. You can also have it be spaced or not spaced. You can shorten the paragraphs to be like easier to read and all that sort of stuff. So very, very good channel. Very, very good. So I literally just watch hours and hours and hours of this content so that I can get more comprehensible input. And then I might challenge myself by listening to a podcast or watching another YouTube channel, but everything that I do is always in Japanese. It's not like a translation, it's not like a video where it tells you, oh, this in Japanese means this thing in English, and the video is entirely in English with only a little bit of Japanese. No, no, no. You're just watching things in Japanese and then seeing what you can understand, and then going back to the drawing board, keep going, keep going, keep going, and that's how it works. This takes forever, because if you use this dreaming Spanish thing as your metric, then their claim is that for Spanish it would be like 1,500 hours, and then they say that for languages that are more different from each other, so English and Japanese are pretty far away from each other, then you'd like double the time, so it's like 3,000 hours. 3,000 hours, if you only did an hour a day, that'd be an hour a day for almost 10 years, like long time. So yeah, anyway, takes a long time to learn languages. We all know this. So anyway, that's how I study Japanese. If you find this useful, like the video. If you don't find this useful, dislike the video, because this video basically tells you, hey, watch this video, which is 14 minutes, then watch this video, which is an hour, then watch this other video, that's an hour, and then you'll understand what I mean when I'm talking about this video. But if you're already in the comprehensible input and understand that, then this video is more helpful to you, because you'd be like, oh, what do you mean I have to learn things through not a textbook and have to do it like a baby would? That seems absurd. So I'm not going to try to convince you on that in this video. I'm just telling you, this is how I study Japanese. If you've seen any of my live streams, if you look at my live streams, all of that has been doing this comprehensible Japanese sort of thing. So, or watching anime, because I'm slightly at the point that I can start watching some like easier anime shows. But anyway, yeah. Like if you like the video, dislike if you dislike the video, leave a comment letting me know why you like or dislike the video, and I will see you all next time in whatever the hell the next video is. Bye.